My first question, which doesn't have much to do with the speech, is how many of you had choices of where you were born, to who your parents were, and what color you were born? Nobody has a choice. You're born wherever you are. I was born in Germany. I lived there for 18 years, and then I came over here. I was sponsored by a couple in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Paul and Claire Falker, and they were very good to me. In 3 years, I had connection in Texas. All I had was a bike to ride. I was going to ride my bike to Texas, like a hobo. Like I was footloose and fancy free. It didn't matter if it took 2 years or 3 years. I was going to work my way to Texas from Iowa. I told my sponsors that I had it all planned out. Oh, Hannah, you can't do that. It's too dangerous. I got to Texas, but not on a bike. And I never let go of that dream totally. And you have to be footloose and fancy free when you do something like that. So I thought maybe when I'm 80, I'm out of debt and I'm footloose and fancy free again. My 70th birthday party, things were kind of clearing out of the way. I think I can do them when I'm 75. That gives me 5 years to make my plan, and that's what I did. And I went on this 2-year journey. The Lions, I belong to Lions Club. I belong to 3 Toastmasters Club, but the Lions, I was going to use the Lions to my advantage because every little town has a Lions Club. And so I could stay with them. I sent out 50 letters to district governors, or no, not chairperson for Leader Dog for the Blind. And I got no response. I found out later on, then the local Lions, or this, I call them like district governors, had a meeting for my benefit. I didn't know that. I thought I was in a Shark Tank. And they were all worried about me. They wanted me to postpone it. I set the date, May 1st, 2015. And I said, I go that time. I don't care, you know. And then they found out nobody responded to my letters, and I found out why most of them didn't respond. They thought I'm crazy. Which the one guy says, you won't like what this guy said. They all took addresses with them and called people. You won't like what this guy said. I said, what you say? I'm used to it. You're crazy. I said, we all know that. That's no news for anybody. So I proceeded my plan, and I just went. I didn't. One district governor had made plans for me. I went into Iowa first, and 2 regular bike riders went with me. Anyway, we went to Fort Dodge, and then they went home, the other two bike riders. And then he didn't have anywhere for me to stay, and I got involved in putting a solar panel up because I cut trees out of the woods, and I got $50,000 for me. That's a lot of money, and that's what the solar panel cost. So when the guy came to talk to me about the solar panel, I bought the bike a year before I left, which has a solar panel on top. It's a tricycle, actually. And first 3 hours, he talked about my bike. And he says, can you give a speech? And I think I said that in the last speech already. Can you give a speech at a solar expo? And I agreed to that because I'm a Toastmaster. I didn't really want to, but anyway, I got very nervous anyway, but I lived through it. And then he took me to a place that somebody where I could stay overnight. Anyway, what I was going to tell you about my journey well, the first night I stayed with a couple, when she saw me, when she wrote to me, she says, I play basketball, which told me she's a younger girl. And then I said, well, I find a bar and you'll find me in a bar, which they're usually restaurant bar together. And in that place, a little bit outside of the Twin Cities, there was a bar where I don't remember the name of the town that we were in. Anyway, she came and found me. She put my arms around me and she said, when I saw what you were doing, you remind me of my mother. She died in my arms a year ago. That's why she took me. And after that, there were so many places, there's always somebody had died. And I reminded them of their grandmother, which was fine, which totally fine with me. I had a purpose. Yeah, everywhere. Anyway, and I don't know where I was. So I think it was somewhere in Michigan. It was a construction zone, a huge construction zone. I waited among cars and trucks and whatnot for about a half hour. And I have to back up. This whole thing started with Toastmasters. On the radio, when I make cows, Mary Pesch, about 40 years ago, she says, overcome the fear of speaking. I couldn't even say my name in front of people. Join Toastmasters, and I joined Toastmasters. I've been in it ever since. Well, no, I took 5 years out in between somewhere. But anyway, and then I saw her 15 years later at Barlow's. They had a restaurant with some friend, African-American friend, Joyce Gibbs. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that name. And I saw Joyce here and I saw her there and years apart sometimes. And then we moved our Toastmasters Club to Dan Abrahamson building. And I went, and then there's Joyce again. I told her what I was going to do, and she says, bring your bike to Toastmasters sometime before you leave so we can see it. And I did to Dan Abrahamson. And then she didn't belong to the Toastmasters, but she gave a speech. And she gave me this dog, which is a leader dog for Mayo Clinic had a service dog. And the doctor would prescribe to get this dog. And she says, I know you can take a real dog with you, but you take this with you. And Eric's Bike Shop put a holder on the bike for me. And so I took this with me. So now I'm in this big construction zone. And I had this bike shop put a cup holder on the right side, and I had the bungee strapped in there. And I'm in the construction zone. In the middle of it, I didn't know anything happened, and I pay attention where I'm going. I'm pedaling like crazy, keep up with the traffic. I can go pretty fast because I have a motor with it and stuff. And I get to the end of the construction zone. I pull over to the side so the traffic can go past me. And then the pickup stop. He says, here, honey, you lost your puppy. That's the American way. And it's my favorite story. I get emotional when I talk about it because he had to stop the traffic. Such nerve to stop the traffic to pick this little dog up. I never lost it there, and I never lost it since. And that's the American way. And listening to Biden, the speech yesterday, was so emotional. He was so touched, and he was so kind. And that's the American way, most of them. There are few that are not kind, but most Americans are this kind. They stop for a little beanie baby. You're great people. Thank you. And Dave gave me this the other day.